Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Sean Huggins and this is the Owls with Hugs. Thank you so much for being here. Today we are back in the UK and we're going to be checking out, will the UK ever abolish the monarchy? I have no idea, but I'm curious what you guys, the experts, have to say, since you guys are likely from the UK if you're watching this video. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section, but enough yapping. Let's hop straight into it. Here we go.
On September 8th, 2022, news spread around the world that the United Kingdom's longest ever reigning monarch, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II,
A few moments ago, Buckingham Palace announced
Great Britain's Queen Elizabeth II,
the longest reigning monarch in Commonwealth history,
had passed away at the age of 96. This spelled the latest change in leadership to an institution that can trace its roots back over 1,000 years. It's almost impossible to think of the UK without a royal family because of it. So how would this actually work? Well, we know other countries have successfully separated from it in the past, and as of 2023, it's down to just these 15.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know what the royal family even does. I'm gonna be totally honest, I don't even know, but that's why I'm here. That's why I have this channel, to find out stuff like that. This is about learning. This is a learning experience.
Over time, the Commonwealth realm has obviously shrunk, with more and more states choosing to be independent republics separate from the British Crown. But what if the UK decided it wanted to be separate from its own ruling royal family as well? Well, according to recent reports, we may be closer to such an eventuality than ever before, with the monarchy's popularity rating supposedly being at an all-time low. You see, republicanism in the UK, which is basically a movement to end the monarchy, has always been a relatively small movement. The reasons for this can be explained through compliance and globalization, but most importantly, the reign of Elizabeth II. You see, Elizabeth's time as monarch came during a critical time for the royal family as an institution. As the world developed and more questions started to be asked about the way things were and had been previously. For both the 19th and first half of the 20th century, the monarchy's existence went unchallenged, as the majority of Britain's population had been taught to respect and appreciate the royal family, leading to decades of mass compliance. However, as the latter stages of the 20th and 21st century came and the world became a more connected and liberal society, the British Republican movement picked up in popularity. But the thing is, this increase in traction for the anti-monarchists coincided with the reign of a very popular monarch.
So basically, it was just how things have always been, so people were like, whatever, we'll just keep going with it. Until people started looking around and being like, wait a minute, why are we doing this? What's up with these people? Why are we allowing these people to do these things and have so much power? But at the same time, Queen Elizabeth II was very well loved, I guess, very popular, and people liked her a lot, I guess, according to this guy, I think, from what I can tell.
Who made the value of the institution known through its modernization. Alongside this, Elizabeth II was also a remarkably popular figure, not just in the United Kingdom and wider Commonwealth, but also amongst fellow heads of state of the world over. Even Republicans would have to admit that she was in numerous ways an incredible woman who resonated with many.
Yo, what the frick? Yo, is that for real? Is that photoshopped? Yo, she got a giant rifle. What the heck? Oh my god, dude, imagine a movie or a video game where you're Queen Elizabeth II going around like Call of Duty style, just mowing people down. Queen Elizabeth II, the Zombie Hunter, the movie. That's a lot of thes in the title. It's a working title, but dibs on being able to make that movie, or at least sell the script to Hollywood. Queen Elizabeth II, the Zombie Hunter, the movie. Dude, imagine she's going around with this giant rifle just mowing down zombies and stuff. That'd be hilarious.
However, as mentioned before, her reign has now passed, and the heir King Charles III isn't a favorite to say the least. I mean, many people even wanted him to be skipped over in the line of succession in favor of his son, Prince William. In turn, his popularity has been reflected in the attitude and general opinion among British citizens of the monarchy today. Look at this chart. It maps the monarchy's favorability across 5 years, from March 2018 to March 2023.
Whoa, damn, so there was a huge spike around this time.
You can clearly see that since the passing of Elizabeth II and the taking of the throne by her son, the monarchy as an institution has lowered in its favorability amongst the British public, meaning there's a wider engagement with the topic of the monarchy's existence. It's no secret either that many of the youngest people in society want the monarchy straight up abolished. In fact, according to recent pollings, that number is almost 40% for Gen Zers. And if
Damn.
anything, these numbers may keep growing with the newer generations. It's these statistics which have led to the recurring question on whether UK citizens would ever push to abolish the monarchy. While such a scenario is still unlikely, how would it work if the UK population wanted to remove its monarchy? And what would subsequently happen to the UK itself? Well, first and foremost, there would have to be a legitimate referendum on the matter, which most likely would come from extreme pressure from the general public. It'd have to be passed by Parliament and most likely the monarch themselves. Such a referendum would...
What? So in order to get rid of the monarchy, the monarch themselves would have to give approval for it. What? What the frick kind of a ass backwards system is that?
probably be titled as, "Should the UK have an elected head of state replacing the monarch?" or something similar to that. And if the monarchy refuses to pass it, then we'd essentially return to an autocratic rule of the monarchy, as they would actively be going against a democratic vote. But if such a
Whoa.
situation were to happen, it'd be more than likely that the monarch would sign and relinquish their power, then potentially start another civil war. Now, say this all went through, and the UK population in majority voted to abolish the rule of the monarchy in the UK. What next? Well, the monarch themselves would have to formally sign that they redact their power as head of state in the UK, but would remain head of state of other countries within the Commonwealth realm.
What? Dude, am I dumb? Well, don't answer that. I don't understand what they do. I need to watch a video on what does the royal family even do? Like, why do they exist?
And then, chaos. Maybe. Because as soon as you abolish the rule of the monarchy in the United Kingdom, it effectively also abolishes the UK as a state. What I mean by this is, without the monarch as the head of state, there is no United Kingdom, as there ceases to be any kingdom at all. From here, truly anything can happen. Unless, of course, everything was decided before the monarchy was abolished. The UK is currently governed by the Westminster system, which has the monarch at the very top. But obviously, we know that the monarchy has lost most of its power and is now essentially just a ceremonial role. So, in practice, nothing would truly change as the country is already a functional democracy with very little impact from the royals.
Yeah, I thought that it was mostly a ceremonial role, but then this guy's saying if they got rid of it, there's going to be a freaking civil war. Like, what?
But the thing is,
don't
because the
understand.
British monarchy has been well ingrained in literally everything in Britain for centuries, especially their institutions, it means their ceremonial power is really woven into their constitution. For example, the
What?
Parliament can't pass any legislation without the consent of the monarch.
What? Whoa. Okay, that is a lot more power than ceremonial. What the frick?
And members of the House of Lords, which makes up the upper house of Parliament, are appointed by the monarch.
Okay, dude. This is way more than ceremonial. They still have a lot of power. I mean, yeah, they have some checks and balances now compared to when it was just one king on throne that just whatever they say goes. But they still have a ton of power, it seems like.
Even though it's basically on the advice of the Prime Minister. So technically, if there's no monarch, then the entire system falls apart, even if it runs perfectly without any real input from them. What this means, obviously, is the whole constitutional framework would begin to be overhauled to live without the monarchy, as there'd be a constitutional crisis. We've seen other European countries in the past go through this when they abolished their monarchy, and also with former British colonies as they gained independence. So there's sort of a precedent for it, which is turning it into a presidential role. That being said, if anything goes wrong at this point, the chance for an actual dissolution of the UK where Scotland and Northern Ireland break free from the Union is very, very possible. I mean, the
Whoa.
Westminster system was the only thing preventing Scotland from being able to hold an independence referendum in 2022. If it did happen, well, an independent English Republic or Great Britain would be severely weakened economically, militarily, and in population size,
Oh,
which
damn.
in turn would weaken their global power and influence. Regardless though, if the UK dissolves or somehow stays as a commonwealth of some sorts with a new constitution, what happens from that point on would be the same for both outcomes. Passports would need to be changed to not have the royal coat of arms on it, nor any mention of the monarch. The pound and postal stamp will change designs to one that doesn't feature them either. Same with military medals and uniforms bearing the monarch's.
Damn, okay, so the freaking monarchs are just all over the, like, I don't want to say propaganda, but like, I don't know, the branding, like the branding of the country or whatever, like on the passport, on the currency, on the awards for military stuff. Like, what the frick? They're everywhere.
Cipher. Even the national anthem would have to change, since it mentions God save the king or queen, based off who the monarch is. Basically, a lot of things like that will need to be changed.
Damn.
Then there's the issue of the Crown Estate. Valued at about $20 billion, it's a collection of lands, palaces, and holdings in the United Kingdom belonging to the monarchy as an institution of the state for as long as it exists. So, if
Yo, that's a racket right there. Dude, you're just born into this family and you're the king. Like, just because of where you're born, and you're just your family's worth $20 billion because you're just born into it. Well, I guess that's how it works too in other places as well. But yeah, I don't know. It's just weird to me.
the monarch ends, then it would be the legal end of the Crown Estate as we know it, meaning most of the property would likely be confiscated by the state and turned into tourist attractions like they've done with the Palace of Versailles in France, bringing in a lot of extra revenue. Of course though, this would probably be after a decades-long battle between the state and the Windsors over everything. As for where the monarchy will reside after basically being evicted, well, they do privately own some properties like Sandringham House and Balmoral Castle, which would likely become the new permanent residence for the deposed royal family. Now, something that may happen along with the British monarchy being abolished is the House of Lords too, given that membership to it is not acquired by election, and most people are appointed for life, something sort of similar to how the monarchy works. And if it was to be replaced, it'd just be replaced by an elected House of the People instead. Finally, since this is all hypothetical, there's also a chance that a gradual next step is the Church of England's status as the official Church of the United Kingdom being ended, as the British sovereign is the supreme governor of the Church of England. The movement even has a name, disestablishmentarianism, and technically, this may not even happen if the monarchy is abolished, but it's one of the goals of republicanism. And I mean, if the royal family ceases to be a thing, then that means the Republicans are most probably finally in a position of power where they can do this if they like. The church wouldn't literally be dismantled or anything, but the UK as a country would basically become a secular state as a result of this.
Wow.
And that is what may happen if the UK ever abolishes their monarchy.
Whew. Okay. Damn, that was a loaded video. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just weird to me that you're just born into this family and then you have unlimited power and resources and wealth and fame and all this stuff. But then at the same time, like, it's not like that's the only place that happens. Like, if you're born into the Kardashian family, it's obviously it's different. Like, you know, we're not putting the Kardashians on our we're not yet putting the Kardashians' faces on our military hero medals and stuff yet. But like, if you're born into the Kardashians, you're a Kardashian, so you automatically are rich and famous and powerful and all that stuff. So I guess in that case, it's not like unheard of to just be born into a family and you're automatically rich and famous and stuff. That happens every so often, but it's just crazy to me to think about. Like, I can't imagine just being born into that family and then you're like, I'm the king. I'm the king or the prince or queen or whatever. Like, that's me. That's who I am. I was just born here. I show up and now I'm the queen or whatever. Like, what? Oh man, I don't know. I need to watch a video on what the royal family actually does, because I think that'll gain some clarity for me. But anyways, that being said, I'm curious what you guys, the experts, have to say about it. You guys are likely from the UK after all, so what do you think of the video? What do you think of the royal family? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'm curious what you guys have to say about it. And when you're done there, consider subscribing, leaving a like, all of that good stuff for the algorithm. You guys know the deal. But that being said, that's all the time that I have for today. So thank you guys so much for being here. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.